looking to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Jude Temero delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region on today's headlines. 7 people, including 2 children, were killed and 4 others missing after a ferry carrying dozens of passengers caught a fire off Indonesia's Sulawesi island early Saturday, the police said. Malaysian ex-leader Najib Razak's most significant 1MDB trial, which centers on claims huge sums ended up in his bank account, was postponed on Monday for a week after prosecutors said they were not ready. And beloved baby Dugong Mariam ties in Thailand with plastic and stomach. Seven people, including 2 children, were killed and 4 others missing after a ferry carrying dozens of passengers caught fire off Indonesia's Sulawesi island early Saturday, the police said. The ferry heading from southeast Sulawesi to an island in central Sulawesi caught fire shortly after midnight. Suddenly, there were sparks in the engine, and fire quickly spread to other parts of the boat. Local police spokesman Hari Goldenheart said in a statement. Police suspect the fire was triggered when the diesel tank exploded. It was unclear how many people were aboard the vessel at the time. The passenger manifest listed 50, but rescuers and locals recovered 61 survivors, while 7 people, including 2 children aged 2 and 4, were found dead. A search has been launched for 4 passengers reported missing. Marine accidents are common in Indonesia, an archipelago nation of more than 17,000 islands, where many use ferries and other boats to travel despite poor safety standards. Ferry operators often sell illegal tickets, exceeding the allowed capacity. Meanwhile, Malaysian ex-leader Najib Razak's most significant 1MDB trial, which centers on claims huge sums ended up in his bank account, was postponed on Monday for a week after prosecutors said they were not ready. It is the second trial linked to scandal hit State Fund One Malaysia Development Berhad that the former Prime Minister is due to face since his long-ruling coalition suffered a shock election loss last year. Billions of dollars were looted from 1MDB and spent on everything from real estate to artwork, in a fraud allegedly involving Najib and his inner circle. Proceedings were to open Monday over suspect bank transfers linked to 1MDB totaling 2.28 billion ringgit, or $550 million. But lead prosecutor Gopal Sriram requested a delay to next month. The judge agreed for a postponement, but only until Monday next week. In the case, Najib faces 21 counts of money laundering and 4 of abuse of power, including the allegations that the huge sums were sent to his account from overseas banks. Najib is expected to face several trials over 1MDB. The first started in April and centers on claims cash was looted from a former 1MDB unit. A volunteer ambulance driver was killed in Myanmar's remote northeast as clashes between the army and ethnic insurgents escalated over the weekend, the state media reported Sunday. The area near the Chinese border has been riven by armed conflict for decades, but a fresh round of violence was sparked this week when the coalition armed groups launched joint attacks against a military academy and police outpost, killing at least 15. The army claims the attacks were retaliation for massive drug seizures in July, but insurgents say they were responding to military offensives. An ambulance from a local philanthropy group working around the town of Lasho came under assault by insurgent sniper and artillery fire on Saturday, the state-owned Global New Light of Myanmar reported. The attack killed a 58-year-old driver Tun Myint, his wife Tintin A told AFP. And I quote, The car was hit when they were trying to turn back from the mission because of intense fighting, she said. Video circulating online that could not be independently verified showed an overturned ambulance on the side of a road and workers frantically transferring a limp body to another vehicle. The Tong National Liberation Army, one of the members of the Northern Alliance coalition of insurgent groups, said it was unclear who was responsible for the attack. As the fighting was intensifying, it is hard to say who to blame. The TNLA's Mai A. Kiao told AFP. Myanmar security forces clearing mines near a bridge also found a weapons cache with dozens of explosive devices, detonators and grenades, according to state media. The U.S. Embassy in Yangon has issued a travel warning for areas near the recent fighting and on Friday urged restraint from all sides in the conflict. In other news, one of the fastest sinking cities on Earth, environmental experts warn that one-third of it could be submerged by 2050 if current rates continue. Decades of uncontrolled and excessive depletion of groundwater reserves, rising sea levels, and increasingly volatile weather patterns mean swathes of it have already started to disappear. Existing environmental measures have had little impact, so authorities are taking drastic action. The nation will have a new capital. Its location could be announced imminently, according to local reports.
Pada waktu 81 ini daratan, tapi bukan daratan diinjak orang, lumpur. Jadi air pasang tapi nggak begitu gede. Lah semakin kesini tahun, semakin tahun, lama-lama tinggi gitu, bawah. Nah kenapa sekarang air di atas, saya di bawah? Kan begitu. Cuma berarti nih digrogotin air asin terus sedikit kan mungkin begitu. Jadi makanya setahu saya seperti itu. Ya untungnya ada tanggul itulah di luar sampai ujung tram lah begitu, nggak was-wasan. Kalau dulu kalau udah banjir, air tumbah saya gemeter, udah nggak punya tenaga karena pada waktu tahun 2007 itu saya hampir hanyut. Habis semua barang-barang saya dari mulai nol. Begitu ceritanya.
Salam sejahtera bagi kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya.
Menyampaikan perkembangan pelaksanaan tugasnya.
Meanwhile, Indonesian President Joko Widodo officially announced his plan to move the country's capital to Kalimantan Island or Borneo, shifting the country's political heart from Jakarta, one of the world's fastest sinking cities that is plagued by traffic jams and pollution.
Dengan meminta izin dan dukungan dari Bapak Ibu, anggota Dewan yang terhormat, para sesepuh dan para tokoh bangsa, terutama dari seluruh rakyat Indonesia, dengan ini saya mohon izin untuk memindahkan ibu kota negara kita ke Pulau Kalimantan, ibu kota yang bukan hanya simbol identitas bangsa, tetapi juga representasi kemajuan bangsa. Ini demi terwujudnya pemerataan dan keadilan ekonomi. Ini demi visi Indonesia maju.
Menyampaikan perkembangan pelaksanaan tugasnya.
Is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant.
Welcome back. ASEAN and the Pacific Alliance reaffirmed their commitment to forge stronger relations between the two regional organizations during the fifth meeting between the Committee of Permanent Representatives to ASEAN, or CPR, and the Group of External Relations of the Pacific Alliance held at the ASEAN Secretariat. The meeting noted the recent developments in ASEAN and the Pacific Alliance, including the outcomes of the recent 52nd ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting and related meetings, 34th ASEAN Summits, as well as the 14th Pacific Alliance Summit. Both sides also took stock of the implementation of the ASEAN-Pacific Alliance Work Plan 2017 to 2019 and noted the potential for greater cooperation under the work plan. In this regard, the meeting agreed to extend the work plan to December 2020, while emphasizing the need to develop a new work plan with a longer timeline to include other areas of cooperation, such as trade facilitation, smart cities, digital economy, climate change, disaster management, renewable energy, connectivity, sustainable development, and cooperation to address the fourth industrial revolution, among others. Co-chaired by Permanent Representative of Cambodia to ASEAN Ambassador Yip Samna and the Ambassador-designate of Chile to ASEAN Gustavo Ayares. The meeting was attended by the Permanent Representatives to ASEAN, the Ambassadors of Pacific Alliance countries to ASEAN, and representatives of the ASEAN Secretariat.
Excellency, now the
In conjunction with ASEAN's 52nd anniversary, the 2019 ASEAN Sports Day was celebrated at the ASEAN Secretariat Heritage Building by highlighting the role of football in women empowerment, as well as for societal development and peace. Officially dubbed as ASEAN Sports Day 2019, Women in Football for an Inclusive ASEAN Community, the event was organized to promote the participation of women and girls in sports, particularly football. The event featured a talk show with Soraya Farina, Secretary of the Women's Football Association of Indonesia, together with Daniela Daphne and Zara Musdalifa, Indonesian national female football players, and Dr. Sita Somret, Head of Poverty Eradication and Gender Division of ASEAN Secretariat, as speakers. The female football players demonstrated their football skills through a mini demo and interactive challenges that were applauded by the visitors. Sports is considered one of the drivers of gender equality, as it teaches women and girls the values of teamwork, self-reliance, and resilience. Indonesia's efforts to revive women's professional football, spearheaded by the Football Association of Indonesia, known as Persatuan Sepak Bola Seluruh Indonesia, or PSSI, appears as a good practice in women empowerment through sports. Raising ASEAN awareness through sporting activities and bringing ASEAN peoples together to benefit the community is one of the priorities of the ASEAN sports sector, while women empowerment is under the ASEAN Women and Gender sector. Students, youth representatives, diplomatic officials, and partner organizations from across ASEAN member states and partner countries joined the celebration. The event was a collaboration between PSSI and the ASEAN Secretariat, supported by the Indonesian Ministry of Youth and Sports. The ASEAN Secretariat organized a two-day high-level policy dialogue on labor and environment and free trade agreements, or EFTAs, on August 15 to 16 to discuss the linkages between trade, environment, and labor. In his opening remark, Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for Socio-Cultural Community Kung Foak highlighted that in recent years, the world has witnessed the broadening of scope and coverage of EFTAs beyond market access. He added that there is a growing realization of the need for ASEAN to be more proactive in looking to its concerns and positions on such issues. The dialogue underscored the importance of labor and environmental considerations in relation to trade and the potential contribution of trade to their objectives, while recognizing the different priorities, levels of development, and regulatory readiness among economies. It also emphasized the fundamental principle that environment and labor-related measures shall not serve as disguised restrictions to trade. Supported by the USAID's Inclusive Growth in ASEAN through Innovation, Trade and E-Commerce Project, and the ASEAN USAID Partnership for Regional Optimization within the Political Security and Socio-Cultural Communities Project. The dialogue brought together chairs, leaders, and representatives of senior economic officials meeting. ASEAN senior officials on environment and senior labor officials meeting, as well as chairs or representatives of the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights, ASEAN Committee on Women, and the senior officials meeting on health development.
Net25 is now available on OSN, the largest entertainment network in the Middle East and North Africa.
Watch your favorite Net25 shows on OSN channel 725, same day as the Philippines.
Net25 shows live and on demand
Anytime, anywhere.
on any mobile device on OSN Play.
Welcome back. A sick baby dugong whose fight for recovery won hearts in Thailand and cast a spotlight on ocean conservation has died from an infection exacerbated by bits of plastic lining her stomach, officials said Saturday. Mariam washed up in shallow waters of southwestern Thailand months ago, and photos of her nuzzling playfully next to rescuers quickly went viral. The discovery soon after of another orphan dugong brought the sea cow celebrity status. The attention of a Thai princess who named the second one Jamil, and round-the-clock webcast giving viewers a front row seat to feedings and treatment. But Mariam died just after midnight after going into shock and efforts to resuscitate her failed, the head of Training Province Marine Park told AFP. And I quote, "She died from a blood infection and pus in her stomach," he said, adding they found small amounts of plastic waste in her intestinal tract. Footage released by the Department of National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation or DNP showed vets attempting to revive Mariam using CPR. Several pieces of plastic were found in her intestine, with one measuring up to 20 centimeters or 8 inches. The plastic had caused obstructions in the animal's stomach, leading to an inflammation and gas buildup, veterinarian Nantarika Chansu posted on Facebook. The dugongs are the latest marine creatures to make headlines in Thailand, whose plastic-choked waters are also a threat to habitats. Both the animals were found in southern Thailand, home to about 250 of the sea cows, which are closely related to the manatee and classified as vulnerable. Meanwhile, Indonesians hold a greasy pole climbing competition as part of celebrations to mark the country's Independence Day. Hundreds of participants climbed 174 slippery poles to collect prizes at the top. Take a look.
Dari dalam memanjat pinang ini tadi saya merasakan pundak saya sakit. Terus yang saya dapatkan sepeda, kompor gas, payung, dispenser, kipas angin, dan lain-lain. Ya, kami berharap Indonesia udah usia 74 ini makin jaya, makin damai, tidak ada kerusuhan di mana-mana. Ya, harapannya Indonesia tahun ke depannya bisa lebih baik lagi.
Yang penting 18, ini 18.
And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Judith Timera, and I'm one with 25.
What we call Bar de Fiel, one of the most famous landmarks here in Stavanger, Norway. And if you want to see more of the tourist spots like this, just tune into Digital Nest every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:30 p.m. I'm Managing Mihia from Stavanger, Norway. Always fun.